warrior. I just got in from being out on the road for the weekend, and I wanted to share a couple of thoughts with you because I'm completely disturbed, as I'm sure most of you must be. What a weekend we had with Brown University, with the Rob Reiner story, with what happened in Australia, the Hanukkah party. So much is going on, but here's what I'm concerned about. Our children are seeing this in real time. We cannot shield them. When we were kids, remember the whispers? Our parents would say things like, don't let the kids hear that. Don't let the kids see that. But today, even if you try that, you can't, because the kids are on devices and they see everything. And even if they're not, they have friends that show them things. And we're surrounded. No wonder we have such a youth mental health crisis that has been escalating. Everything we work on at the Warriors, despite all of the work, despite the sounding the alarm, despite the resources, the new studies, despite so many good people coming together, organizations, nonprofits, people in government, individuals, survivor parents, survivors of sex and labor trafficking. It's all escalating. It is completely upsetting. There was such hatred, vitriol on the streets, in the air, online. We all went through, with our own eyes, the Charlie Kirk assassination. And now we have Rob Reiner. And the anger that young people have, the dysfunction within families. Look at Rob Reiner. And I didn't know him. I didn't know his wife. Despite anything you want to think about Rob Reiner, I don't care. Separated out Warriors. He gave us a beautiful body of work. You know, When Harry Met Sally, Princess Bride, all of those things. Even his All in the Family character was, at that time, think back if you're old enough, and I am, that was groundbreaking at the time. So now fast forward. And I'm separating it out, and we have to. I don't like comments and postings that were put out today against this man. The son murdered his parents, well, allegedly. There's anger, there's drug addiction, there's mental health issues. Look at what our kids are facing. I can't imagine where we're going to be in 2 or 3 years from now, because the kids are witnessing and seeing all of this, hearing all of this. And again, when they see our elected leaders putting out statements that I don't understand why. Why? Don't wallow in the swamp like that is what I say. Now you can say what you want. We're taking the high road at the Warriors, and I'm very concerned about our children witnessing all of this. How are we going to separate? You can talk, because I hear this over and over again. I was out of town this morning. I had some odd streaming news on, but it was actually very good. I couldn't even tell you because I was working where it was in the background, but it was like straightforward news, so I wasn't sidetracked by any silliness on morning shows and things like that. And all of a sudden it broke into a live roundtable in Florida about AI. And it was our mom survivor, Megan Garcia, and her husband talking about their son, Sewell, who committed suicide because he got in a relationship with a chat bot. And these are the things we need to be talking about with our kids and working with them on, and working with the schools, and working with the community leaders, and working, not all this other stuff. But here's what I want to point out about that. Sewell's mom, Megan, so bravely coming forward. Again, Florida is doing some terrific work. This was a roundtable with Governor Ron DeSantis. Really, he's enacted AI legislation. We'll leave that for another program where that's going with the EO, the executive order. But there's going to be a lot of fighting because the states have some really great regulation and things pending, and we're not taking it away from the safety of our kids. We're not going to have more of these mentally ill, distraught children, and it's not their fault because these things are being thrown at us. But here's what I want to point out about Megan Garcia. She and her husband said, we did everything right. We had guardrails. We talked to our kids. He was a great kid, great siblings, open and honest communication. And this still happened to us. We're pointing out, even though you can do everything correctly, these horrors can still happen within your household. And the anger and the groups online that are aligning themselves with our young men and filling them with hatred and shootings. And I dare say, we also have to talk about, I'm here in New York City. A woman was changing her baby, the 7th floor of Macy's the other day, which by the weighs the floor with Santa Claus and the children's toys and all that, brought her baby into the bathroom to change. A woman was let out of some sort of mental facility that morning, went to Macy's, and repeatedly stabbed this woman in the back, in the arms. I know you feel the same way I do. I receive random texts today from people from all over the country, like, be careful, Lynn, in this crazy world. You know, this is the spirit of the holidays and giving, and look at all the hatred going on. And Australia, people celebrating Hanukkah on a beach, first night, and a father-son massacre people. And so many people have written to me also in the last 2 days, where is our America? What happened to America? I don't have answers. I'm concerned for our children. I'm concerned for all the new children coming into the world. What's going on here? With that being said, we must be involved in our homes and communities. We must take a stand. You know, I rushed right off the train back to New York, therefore hat, clothes still on, to get to you with a couple of messages I want you to think about this week going forward as we count down to Christmas and New Year's. And also there was, the alert put out, Paris canceling New Year's Eve celebrations due to terrorism and migrant uprisings. What's happening in Washington? I'm sorry, I pause when I say that, because I'm angry, and you should be too. When our Kids Online Safety Act minimally was calling out and holding big tech accountable for harming our kids, for allowing the dangerous algorithms, for allowing them to scroll relentlessly because all they care about is money, profit over people, advertisers. It's become a slop. It's become a junk online. Yes, we all use it. We will continue to use it. We're not against the internet. Not at all. This is the digital world we live in. We are against what they do to our kids, our minors. There are no rules, no regulations. They are the money signs. They look, these CEOs, at kids as money signs, collateral damage. And I'm shocked that we have an executive order that says Kids Online Safety Act. We're taking out the duty of care. We're not allowed to ask, big tech, who are your safety councils? Where's the transparency? Give us this, give us that so we can keep our kids safe. No. This preempts all state laws, this EO. It is a real disappointment. And I'm here to say there are many from both sides of the aisle. Now, at the Warriors, we don't like labels and parties and all that, but here we are, very upset, very disillusioned, very disappointed. The Warriors will always stand with parents, with our children, with educating the public. Last Saturday, just a couple of days ago, I was out and about. I'm a little mysterious about it because we don't do things at the Warriors for clicks and likes and all that stuff. But I felt very good servicing the community, very vulnerable children, giving out toys and food and seeing the smiles on faces when a child receives a toy, some socks and gloves, some snacks. Shout out to Goya, who always provides the Warriors with tremendous snacks and drinks, food for our vulnerable communities. They do an amazing job. If we had more companies like Goya, we could be in a better position in this company to help people. But I ask you, and that's what we do at the Warriors. We give of ourselves. We never ask about anything for ourselves. We ask for other people. Why is this allowed in America? A family who can't have a Christmas because they can't afford even one toy. New socks for their children. I'm talking right here in New York State where I am. So we at the Warriors do that. Understand what we do. A lot behind the scenes. But I'm thinking, and then there's big tech at the table, at the White House, at the dinner table. Everybody patting each other on the back. Isn't this great? AI, artificial intelligence. We're going to put it in the schools. Yeah, we'll take away your father's job because he'll be replaced by AI. Take away the teachers' jobs. They'll be replaced by AI. Basically, you don't have to go to school. You can stay home and just keep looking at your computer because you'll have an AI bot teach you. Disgusting. Start calling everybody out. Stand up. You pay taxes. Congress works for us. The White House is the people's house. I'm scared, warriors. You should be too. But it's Christmas. And I feel like it's being sucked away from us. Ruined for us. But there's a problem, and you know it. I don't have to sit here and tell you. Look at what our kids witnessed just in the last 48, 72 hours. So many young people I spoke to were shocked about the Charlie Kirk. That wasn't even like a political, I know that's hard to understand, but because so many kids are on TikTok, and Charlie Kirk was on TikTok, kids who didn't really even follow him or something, he would pop up because they would tell me. They all knew who Charlie Kirk was. I was amazed because he would pop up a lot on TikTok. Fast forward. Then we have the poor young woman who was stabbed on the train. I had a couple of kids asking me about that. And we had another one that was very quiet. I don't know what happened to that. The same kind of thing happened about a month later. Nobody talked about that. We have people being set on fire. I weep for my country. I weep for our children. If we don't get a handle on this, and I mean now, as a community, because the government can only do so much, and they're in one direction, and that is AI. That's it. And if kids fall by the wayside, so be it. That's the collateral damage. Go back and look at my interview, please, with I just did with a fantastic warrior, attorney Laura Marquez Garrett, Social Media Victims Law Center, representing, beginning in January, several lawsuits of parents whose children have been harmed by the big tech platforms. Remember, we're not against the internet. No. We are against big tech ruling the roost, having lobbyists on Capitol Hill, swaying everybody. And people on Capitol Hill so power hungry to be reelected that they will sell their soul, and that is both sides of the aisle. And if they think, geez, these elections cost a lot of money these days, I'm going to get some of that big tech, they're going to go along with them. And I'm telling you, children are dying. Every day. You don't hear about it in the media. People don't want to talk about it. It's dark and ugly. We agree. We've got to talk about it. We're not going to allow this. I'm disgusted, and you should be too. But as we come together, there is hope. There are hundreds of thousands of parents across the United States with groups such as Parents SOS, Parents Rise. Make sure you look at all of these things on the Warriors, lynswarriors.org. Follow the interviews here. Again, attorney Laura Marquez Garrett was giving me a good analogy, and she's like, when did you ever say you were going to buy your kids cigarettes? And I looked at her and I said, never. She said, exactly. It's the same thing with social media. Giving them a device is buying them that cigarette. Giving them a device is opening up the world to them if you don't have safeguards, discussions. Make sure it's only their friends on there. Another friend contacted me just a little while ago and said, CNBC did a report on, I don't know if I'm supposed to call them out or not. I don't know anymore. I don't care. On AI toys, because I've been talking about that. Our great colleagues at Fair Play for Kids put out a toy advisory a couple of weeks ago that AI is being inserted in teddy bears and robots and cute plushies. Next year, full in with Barbies and things like that. And she said, they're talking about AI toys, everything you talked about. You have to get on the show because they're saying they put safety measures in place. No, they did not put safety measures in place. We've successfully had one teddy bear taken off the market who was teaching kids how to go in the kitchen and find knives, light matches, and talking sexual things with them. How did it even get into a person's home? So you as the parent or guardian or family member buying a gift, please, AI toys, be alert. The packaging is not clear. Check those ages because ages also are not clear on packaging. It might say 8+, but really be for a 12+. You got to do some research. But she was also saying, remember the Pinto car, if you're old enough to remember, and I do remember, I think gas tanks were exploding or something like that. And when they found internal memos, it was Ford Pinto, the memo said, okay, well, it's cheaper if people get killed and we lose them in lawsuits than paying out lawsuits. So we'll take those, that'll be collateral damage. Some people will just explode with their cars, and that is much cheaper than paying out lawsuits. And that's the thinking with big tech. But you know what? I have full faith in attorney Laura Marquez Garrett come January, and I have it's groundbreaking. And once she breaks through, and she will, because I never met a mom, an attorney, so determined to help parents who've been through this horrible situation of losing a child to the harms of the internet. And yes, it happens, not to all children, but kids are vulnerable. Kids take things all different ways. And COVID, what a disgrace on this country. It really sped up this process of isolating our kids, causing more mental health problems, causing derision between parents and kids. How about the schools? And I'm tired of these fake groups coming to the table. And I'm thinking about, a table of AI people I recently saw. And I thought, why are those two people at the table? Because they couldn't even tell you what AI stands for. Why are those two people at the table? Because they don't march with the parents. They don't do interviews. And they're at the table, preaching to us about AI and the kids. Follow the warriors, please. Community creates change. Talk to your kids. Start educating yourselves. It's tough. It's rough. It's the holidays. Make a commitment. And it's tough. Wake up each and every day. Do something full of light, full of hope. And again, there is a lot of hope because we have a lot of parents coming together across the country, a lot of groups coming together. We do have some good legislators and AGs. The states are doing terrific work. We're going to fight this. And we're going to have a great holiday. And we're just going to keep praying for everybody. Community creates change. Follow us. Support us. And when you wake up each and every day, go out and be a warrior.